1 week later, the Galactic Council chamber looked different. The seats were full. Every species had sent representatives. News of what happened had spread across the galaxy at light speed. Everyone wanted to see what would happen next. Ambassador Nari Park walked into the chamber again. But this time she did not walk alone. Admiral Jiwon Sung walked on her right side, wearing her full dress uniform. Captain Hyunwoo Kim walked on her left, also in dress uniform. Behind them came a full honor guard of human marines, their boots striking the floor in perfect rhythm. The chamber was absolutely silent. No laughter, no whispers. Just silence. High Arbiter Vexthor stood from his throne. The council recognizes Ambassador Park of Earth and her delegation. Nari walked to the center platform. She looked around the chamber. So many eyes watching. So many species that had dismissed humanity just a week ago. Honorable members, she began. Her voice was clear and strong. I stand before you today not as a petitioner, but as a representative of a sovereign power. Humanity thanks the council for its offer of membership. But, Vexthor prompted, but we cannot accept. Not yet. A ripple of shock went through the chamber. Vexthor leaned forward. You refuse membership? After everything that has happened? Not refuse, High Arbiter. Postpone. Nari touched a control and images appeared on the screens around the chamber. The council operates on a principle of submission to majority rule. Members must follow council law, must contribute military forces to council operations, must open their borders to council inspection. That is standard, Vexthor said. For species that need the council's protection, yes. But humanity does not need protection. We have protected ourselves. We have built our own defenses. We have created our own path, Councillor Thresh spoke up. His injuries had been treated and he looked much better. Then what do you propose, Ambassador? An alliance, Nari said. Not membership. An alliance between equals. Humanity will work with the council. We will share technology, trade goods, and coordinate defense against common threats. But we will not submit to council authority. Earth will remain sovereign. The chamber erupted in arguments. Some species were outraged. Others were excited. Some were afraid. A new voice cut through the noise. It came from the main view screen. Perhaps I can clarify Earth's position. Everyone turned. A woman appeared on the screen. She was older, perhaps 60, with gray hair and sharp eyes. She wore a military uniform with more medals than anyone had ever seen. I am Defense Minister So Min Han, commander of Earth's military forces. Let me be very clear about humanity's position. She touched a control, and new images appeared. Shipyards in orbit around Earth, factories on Mars, research stations throughout human space, and everywhere construction. Dozens of massive shapes taking form. We are currently completing 7 more Titan-class warships, but our shipyards are expanding. In 5 years, we will have 30 Titans. In 10 years, 50. In 20 years, we will have the largest fleet in the known galaxy. The chamber went deathly quiet. But, Soman continued, we do not seek conquest. We do not seek dominance. We simply refuse to be weak. We refuse to be victims. We will defend ourselves and we will defend our allies. The question is, does the Council want humanity as an ally? Or as a stranger? She leaned forward and her eyes were hard. Choose wisely, Council. Because humanity is patient, but we remember. We remember every insult, every dismissal, every time you laughed at us. We are willing to forget, but only if you are willing to respect us. Vexthor stood. He looked old and tired. Defense Minister, the Council has learned a harsh lesson. We judged your species wrongly. We allowed arrogance to blind us to your strength. Many of us believed that age equals wisdom, that numbers equal power. We were wrong. He looked around the chamber. I propose a vote. All in favor of an alliance with humanity, as equals rather than subjects, vote now. This time the vote was different. Every single hand, claw, and tentacle rose. 73 species voted yes. Not one voted no. It is unanimous, Vexthor declared. Humanity is recognized as an independent power and ally of the Galactic Council. We will draft a treaty that respects your sovereignty while allowing cooperation. Nari bowed her head. The Earth thanks the Council. Later, in a private meeting room, Councillor Thresh sat with Hyunwoo. Just the two of them, no guards, no witnesses. Captain Kim, Thresh said quietly, I must tell you something. What is it, Councillor? For 200 years I have served on the Council. I have seen hundreds of species. Some were kind, some were cruel, some were wise, some were foolish. But in all that time, I never saw what I saw in you. And what is that? Mercy, true mercy. Not mercy because you were weak and had no choice. Not mercy because you wanted something in return, but mercy because you believed it was right. Thresh looked down at his 4 hands. When you came to save us, I was certain you would leave us to die. After how I treated you, I deserved it. But you came anyway. You risked your life, your crew, your ship, for people who mocked you. You were in danger, Hyunwoo said simply. That is all that mattered. No, Captain. That is not all that mattered. You had a choice. You chose compassion, and that choice taught me more than 200 years of life ever did. Thresh stood and extended one hand. Thank you, Captain Kim, you saved my life. But more than that, you restored my faith in honor. Hyunwoo shook his hand. Just try not to laugh at the next young species that comes before the council. Thresh smiled. I promise you, Captain. I will never make that mistake again. On the Defiant, Admiral Jiwon stood on the observation deck. Through the massive windows, she could see Earth in the distance. Beautiful blue and green wrapped in white clouds. Home. Nari joined her at the window. We did it, Admiral. We earned their respect, yes, but that is just the beginning. Now comes the hard part. What do you mean? Jiwon gestured to the stars. Out there, Ambassador, are thousands of species. Millions of worlds. Ancient empires that make the Council look like children. Threats we have not even imagined yet. The galaxy is vast and dangerous, but we have the Titans. The Titans are just ships, Ambassador. Metal and weapons and engines. They are not what makes humanity strong. Then what does? Jiwon turned to face her. Our values. Our compassion. Our refusal to become monsters just because the galaxy is full of them. That is what makes us strong, and that is what we must never lose, no matter how powerful we become. Nari nodded slowly. I understand, Admiral. They stood together, watching Earth. Behind them, the Defiant prepared to return home. Around the solar system, the other Titans took up their positions. The Indomitable, the Resolute, the Valiant, the Eternal. 12 ships, each one capable of facing a fleet alone, but they did not exist to threaten. They existed to protect. They existed to ensure that humanity would never again be weak, never again be victims, never again bow to those who would oppress them. And the galaxy had learned a lesson. Do not mistake patience for weakness. Do not mistake diplomacy for fear, and never, ever underestimate humanity. Far from Earth, in a classified shipyard, construction continued on the 13th Titan. Workers moved across its hull like ants. Welders sparked. Machines hummed. The ship was only half finished, but already it was massive. Its name was already chosen. Already painted on the incomplete hull in letters 10 meters tall. TCS Eternal. And it would not be the last. 3 months later, a small alien vessel approached Earth for the first time. It was a trading ship from a species called the Mira, a peaceful people who had heard stories of the humans. They were nervous. The stories said humans were powerful, perhaps dangerous. They did not know what to expect. As they approached Earth, their sensors detected the orbital defenses. Thousands of satellites, hundreds of defense platforms, and there, in formation around the planet, 3 Titan-class warships. The Mira captain nearly turned back. But then a voice came through their communication system. It was warm, friendly, and welcoming. Mira vessel, this is Earth Traffic Control. Welcome to our system. We are happy to see you. Please transmit your trade license and we will direct you to a docking station. Is this your first visit? The Mira captain was confused. Yes, it is our first visit. We have heard you are very powerful. You thought we would be hostile? The human voice sounded amused. We are strong, yes. But we are also kind. Strength without kindness is cruelty. Please come in peace and you will be welcomed as friends. The Mira ship docked at a station. The captain met with human traders. They were polite, fair, and generous. They asked about Mira culture. They wanted to learn, to understand. The Mira captain returned home with stories. Not stories of human weapons or human power, but stories of human kindness, human curiosity, human warmth. And the word spread. Slowly, carefully, other species began to visit Earth. Not because they feared humanity, but because they respected humanity. In the council chamber, Vexthor met with his advisors. They were discussing the new treaty with humanity. High Arbiter, one advisor said, the humans could have demanded anything. They could have forced us to give them territory. resources, anything they wanted, but they asked for nothing except respect and partnership. Yes, Vexthor said, that is what makes them dangerous. Dangerous, High Arbiter. Dangerous to tyrants. Dangerous to oppressors. The Defiant extended docking tubes toward the captured pirate ships. Human Marines moved through the tubes in organized lines. They were professional, efficient, and showed no mercy to those who resisted. On the bridge of the Defiant, Admiral Jiwan watched the operation on multiple screens. Commander Taiyang stood beside her chair reporting status updates. All pirate vessels secured, Admiral. No casualties on our side. The pirates have surrendered completely. Good, Jiwan said. What about the Council ships? Minor damage to 3 vessels. Thresh's ship took the worst of it, but no casualties among the Council members. Our medical teams are already aboard providing assistance. And Captain Kim. The Ranger is heavily damaged, but the crew is safe. We have a repair ship on the way. Jiwan nodded. She touched a control on her armrest. Captain Kim, can you hear me? Hyunwoo's voice came through, slightly scratchy. Loud and clear, Admiral. Thank you for the timely arrival. You held them off well, Captain. That was good work. I had faith you would come. Always, Jiwan said warmly. Then her voice became more formal. I need you and Ambassador Park on my bridge. We have guests arriving. Understood, Admiral. We are on our way. A shuttle carried Hyunwoo and Nari from the damaged Ranger to the Defiant. As they approached the Titan, both of them stared in wonder. The ship was so large that it filled their entire view. They could see tiny figures working on the hull. Maintenance crews in spacesuits. They looked like ants on a mountain. The shuttle entered one of the smaller landing bays. Even this small bay was huge, able to hold 20 shuttles easily. They landed and stepped out onto the deck. A young officer met them. Captain Kim, Ambassador Park, welcome aboard. Please follow me. They walked through the corridors of the Defiant. The ship was beautiful inside. Clean white walls, efficient design, and everywhere they looked, human crew members working with purpose. They passed training rooms, medical bays, engineering sections. The ship was like a floating city. 50,000 crew, the officer said, noticing their expressions, plus space for 20,000 Marines and their equipment. The Defiant is completely self-sufficient. We can operate for 5 years without resupply. Incredible, Nari whispered. They reached the bridge. The doors opened. The bridge was circular with stations arranged in levels. At the center, raised above the others, was Admiral Jiwan's command chair. She stood when they entered. Captain, Ambassador, welcome to my ship. Hyunwoo saluted. Thank you for the rescue, Admiral. You did well out there. Outnumbered 15-1, and you still gave them a fight. Jiwan gestured to the main view screen. We have incoming. The High Arbiter is requesting permission to come aboard. Will you grant it? Nari asked. Of course. We are not barbarians. Jiwan smiled slightly. But it will be interesting to see his face. 20 minutes later, High Arbiter Vexthor arrived with a security detail. He was led to the bridge. When he entered, his eyes swept the room. He saw the efficient crew, the advanced technology, the calm confidence of everyone present. His expression was hard to read, but his tail swished nervously behind him. High Arbiter, Jiwan said. Thank you for joining us. Admiral Sung, Vexthor replied. His voice was controlled, but there was an edge to it. I must ask questions. Of course, please. Jiwan gestured to a seat, but Vexthor remained standing. How long has humanity possessed ships of this class? The Defiant was commissioned 3 years ago. It was the first. 3 years, Vexthor repeated. 3 years ago, when Ambassador Park first came to the Council, you already had this ship. Yes. And you said nothing. You did not ask, Jiwan said simply. You assumed our 400 diplomatic and transport vessels were our entire fleet. That was your mistake, not our lie. Vexthor's claws flexed. How many of these ships exist? Jiwan looked at Nari, then at Hyunwoo. She made a decision. 12 are currently in active service. 7 more are under construction in various shipyards around Earth and our colonies. When those are complete, we will have 19 Titan-class warships. The number hung in the air. Vexthor's security detail shifted nervously. One of them, a military advisor, leaned close to whisper. High Arbiter, our entire fleet has nothing that could stand against even one of these vessels. I am aware, Vexthor said quietly. He looked at Jiwan. Why did you hide this from the Council? Because, Jiwan said, we did not trust you. And today proved we were right not to. What do you mean? Nari stepped forward. High Arbiter, with respect, your council laughed at us. You treated us like children. You dismissed our accomplishments and mocked our military. And yet, when your people were in danger, Captain Kim did not hesitate to help. He risked his ship and his crew to save council members, including Counselor Thresh, who was one of our harshest critics. That is true, Vexthor admitted. So humanity asks, Nari continued, why should we trust a council that judges by appearances, that values only what it can see? We built these ships in secret because we knew the galaxy was dangerous. We knew that if we showed weakness, we would be attacked or enslaved. The council would never, would you not? Hyunwoo interrupted. He stepped forward, his face hard. High Arbiter, be honest. If you had known we had only 400 small ships and if Earth had resources you wanted, would the council have protected us? Or would you have looked the other way while stronger species took what they wanted? Vexthor was silent for a long moment. Then he said very quietly, I do not know, and that shames me. The admission surprised everyone. Vexthor looked old suddenly, tired. He looked at the view screen where the disabled pirate ships floated. What will you do with Pirate Lord Kraz and his crew? He asked. We will turn them over to council justice, Jiwon said. This is your space. These are your laws. We respect that. Even though we disrespected you? Yes, Vexthor nodded slowly. Admiral, humanity showed mercy today. You could have let the pirates kill us. You could have left us to die as punishment for our arrogance. But you did not. Why? Jiwon stood up. She walked to the view screen and looked out at the stars. Because that is not who we are, High Arbiter. We believe that life is precious. We believe in helping those in danger, even if they are our enemies. We believe in doing what is right, not what is easy. She turned back to face him. Your council judges by military strength, by numbers of ships and size of weapons. But humanity judges by character, by honor, by the courage to do what is right when no one is watching. A new voice spoke from the doorway. Well said, Admiral. Everyone turned. Counselor Thresh stood there, supported by 2 human medics. His shell was cracked and one of his arms was bandaged, but he was alive. Counselor, Vexthor said, you should be in medical care. I had to come, Thresh said. He looked at Hyunwoo. Captain Kim, you came to save us. After everything I said in the council chamber, after I laughed at your fleet and called your ships toys, you still came. Hyunwoo met his eyes. Yes, why? Because it was the right thing to do. Thresh's eyes filled with something that might have been tears. I have lived for 200 years. I have seen 100 species rise and fall, and today I learned something new. Power without honor is worthless, and you humans have more honor than I have ever seen. He turned to Vexthor. High Arbiter, I was wrong. I judged humanity by their size, by their age, by their fleet numbers. I did not judge them by what matters. Their character. Vexthor looked between Thresh and the humans. He made a decision. Ambassador Park, he said formally. When we return to council space, I will call an emergency session. Humanity will be offered full membership, and I will personally apologize for how we treated you. Nari bowed her head. Thank you, High Arbiter. But, Vexthor continued, I must ask. Will you accept? The question surprised everyone. Nari looked at Hyunwoo, then at Jiwon. Jiwon smiled. High Arbiter, we will need to discuss this with our government. But I can tell you this. Humanity does not bend the knee. Not anymore. Not ever. Outside the Defiant, 2 more massive shapes appeared in space. 2 more Titan-class warships dropped out of hyperspace. The Indomitable and the Resolute. They took up positions on either side of the Defiant. 3 Titans. Side by side. 50,000 crew each. Enough firepower to destroy a solar system. The galaxy would never look at humanity the same way again. The TCS Defiant came through the rift like a god emerging from the void. It was 47 kilometers long. Its hull was dark gray, covered in armor plating that looked like the scales of a dragon. Hundreds of weapon ports dotted its surface. Blue lights ran along its length, pulsing like a heartbeat. At the front, the ship's name was written in letters 10 meters tall. Behind the name was Earth's flag, a symbol that no one in this part of space had ever feared before. They would fear it now. On the bridge of the Ranger, everyone stared. Even Hyunwoo, who knew what was coming, felt his breath catch. Nari stood up slowly, her mouth open. By all the stars, she whispered. That is ours. That is ours, Hyunwoo confirmed. The pirate ships looked like insects next to the Defiant. Their biggest cruiser was maybe 3 kilometers long. The Titan dwarfed them completely. Its shadow fell across the entire battle zone. Every communication channel went silent. For 10 full seconds, nobody said anything. Everyone just stared. Then Pirate Lord Kraz found his voice. "What is that thing?" His sensor officer was frantically working at his console. I do not know, Lord. My systems cannot get a full reading. It is too large. The mass readings are impossible. This ship should not be able to move. It should collapse under its own weight." "But it is moving," Kraz said. His eyes were wide. The Defiant was indeed moving. Despite its enormous size, it glided through space smoothly, gracefully, like a shark moving through water. A voice came through every speaker in the system. It was calm, measured, and absolutely confident. "This is Admiral Jiwan Sung of the Terran Confederacy ship Defiant. All hostile vessels have 10 seconds to power down weapons and release prisoners. After that, you will be destroyed. This is your only warning." Kraz stared at the screen. His tusks trembled with rage. "They dare threaten me? I am Pirate Lord Kraz. I have raided 100 systems. I bow to no one." His crew looked at him nervously. One of them spoke up. "Lord, perhaps we should—" "Silence," Kraz roared. "It is one ship, one. We are 15. Fire everything. Destroy that human vessel." On Thresh's ship, the counselor looked at a view screen in the cargo bay. He saw the Titan. He saw the pirate ships preparing to fire. He closed his eyes. "You fools," he whispered. "You stupid, arrogant fools." The pirate fleet opened fire. 15 cruisers, each one armed with dozens of weapons. Missiles, energy beams, plasma torpedoes. All of it focused on the Defiant. The space around the Titan lit up like a sun. Explosions bloomed across its shields. The light was so bright that people had to look away. When the light faded, the smoke cleared. The pirates looked at their screens, waiting to see the damage they had caused. The Defiant's shields had not even flickered. The ship floated there, completely undamaged. It had not moved. It had not even bothered to evade. "Impossible," Kraz breathed. Admiral Jiwan's voice came through again. "Your time is up." On the Defiant's bridge, Admiral Jiwan Sung sat in her command chair. She was in her 50s, with gray streaks in her dark hair. She had spent 30 years in Earth's Navy. She had overseen the construction of the first Titan-class vessel. She had waited a long time for this moment. "Commander Taeyong," she said calmly, "target the 3 lead pirate vessels. Single lance shot, minimum power." "Yes, Admiral," Commander Taeyong Lee replied. He was younger, with sharp features and quick hands. His fingers moved across the tactical console. Lance charged, firing. The Defiant had many weapons. It had thousands of missile tubes. It had hundreds of mass driver cannons. It had point defense systems that could shoot down incoming fire. But its most powerful weapon was the directed energy lance. It was designed to crack planets. A beam of pure white energy shot out from the front of the Defiant. It was only fired for half a second. The beam passed through 3 pirate cruisers in a line. The ship simply ceased to exist. One moment they were there. The next moment there was nothing but expanding clouds of gas and debris. Total silence filled every communication channel. Then the remaining pirate ships tried to run. They turned and burned their engines at maximum power, desperate to escape. "Fighter launch," Admiral G1 ordered. Bays opened along the Defiant's hull. Hundreds of small craft poured out like angry wasps. They were sleek fighters, each one piloted by highly trained humans. They moved so fast that pirate sensors could barely track them. The fighters swarmed the fleeing pirate ships. They fired precision shots targeting engines and weapons. Within minutes, every pirate vessel was disabled. They drifted in space, powerless and helpless. Kraz's flagship, the Death's Hand, was caught in a tractor beam. The same beam that had seemed so powerful when it grabbed the Ranger now looked pathetic. The Defiant pulled the pirate ship toward itself like a child pulling a toy on a string. "No," Kraz said. "No, no, no. This is not possible. We are the terror of the Outer Rim. You are finished," a new voice said. Kraz turned. Human soldiers had appeared on his bridge. They wore black armor and carried weapons that hummed with power. They had boarded his ship without him even noticing. The lead soldier, a woman with cold eyes, pointed her weapon at Kraz. "On your knees," she said. Kraz dropped to his knees. All across the pirate fleet, the same scene played out. Human Marines boarded every ship. They moved with precision and efficiency. The pirates, who had terrorized this region of space for years, surrendered without a fight. On Thresh's ship, the pirate guards dropped their weapons and raised their hands. The human Marines moved through the ship quickly. They reached the cargo bay where the council members were held. "You are safe now," a Marine said to Thresh. "Please remain calm while we secure the area." Thresh looked at the human soldier. The soldier could not have been more than 25 years old. But she moved like a veteran. Her armor bore scars from previous battles. "How many ships do humans have like that?" Thresh asked quietly. The Marine smiled slightly. "That is classified, Counselor." In another part of the system, a new group of ships arrived. These were Council military vessels, responding to the original distress call. High Arbiter Vexthor himself was on the lead ship. His bridge crew was in chaos. "High Arbiter! There is a massive vessel in the combat zone. It is... Show me," Vexthor ordered. The view screen activated. Vexthor saw the Defiant. He saw the disabled pirate ships. He saw the clouds of debris that used to be 3 pirate cruisers. His golden eyes widened. "Contact that ship," he said. "Now." A moment later, Admiral Jiwan's face appeared on the screen. She looked at Vexthor calmly. "High Arbiter," she said. "What an unexpected pleasure. What is that vessel?" Vexthor demanded. "How does humanity possess a warship of this magnitude?" "The Defiant is a Titan-class warship," Jiwan said. "We have been building them for some time now. How many do you have?" Jiwan smiled. It was not a warm smile. "Currently, 12 are in active service. 7 more are under construction. Would you like technical specifications, High Arbiter? I would be happy to provide them." Vexthor's claws gripped his armrests. "This changes everything." "Yes," Jiwan agreed. "It does." On the Ranger, Hyunwoo stood with Ambassador Nari. They watched the view screen together. "Nari had tears in her eyes all this time," she said, "while they laughed at us, while they called us weak. We had these." "We do not like to show all our cards, Ambassador," Hyunwoo said quietly. "Sometimes it is better to be underestimated." "But why did we help them?" "After everything they said?" Hyunwoo turned to look at her. "Because, Ambassador, we are human. And that means something." The Ranger had been traveling for 6 hours. The crew was quiet. Nobody wanted to talk about what had happened at the council. Hyunwoo sat in his chair, reading reports on his datapad. Bora worked at the navigation console, plotting their course back to Earth. Then the alarms went off. "Captain," Bora's voice was sharp. "I'm picking up a distress signal. It's coming from nearby space, just outside the border zone." Hyunwoo stood up. "Put it on speakers." Static filled the bridge, then a panicked voice. It was speaking in the Galactic Common Language. "This is Council Transport Group 7. We are under attack. Repeat, we are under attack. Multiple hostile vessels. They are..." The signal cut off. "Analysis," Hyunwoo ordered. Bora's fingers flew across her console. The signal came from 3 light minutes away. "The attackers are..." "Captain, I'm reading 15 large vessels. The signature matches known pirate groups." "The Bloodfang Marauders." Ambassador Nari looked up from where she sat. "The Bloodfang? They are dangerous. They attack convoys and kill everyone. They leave no survivors." "Not our problem," said one of the crew members. "The council just laughed at us." "Why should we help them?" Hyunwoo was silent. He stared at the view screen. His mind worked quickly. The council had humiliated them, had treated humanity like garbage. Every logical reason said to ignore the distress call and keep flying, but that was not who humans were. "Change course," Hyunwoo said. "Maximum speed. Battle stations. Captain?" Bora looked shocked. "Sir, we are a diplomatic ship. We have light weapons only. Against 15 pirate cruisers we will..." "I know," Hyunwoo cut her off. His voice was hard. "Do it anyway." The crew looked at each other, then moved to obey. The Ranger turned and its engines burned bright. It shot through space toward the distress signal. They arrived to chaos. 5 council ships were surrounded by 15 pirate vessels. The pirates were larger, uglier ships covered in weapons and armor plating. Explosions lit up the darkness as the council ships tried to defend themselves. "Identify the council ships," Hyunwoo ordered. Bora checked her scanners. 4 transport vessels and 1 diplomatic cruiser. "The diplomatic ship is..." "Oh no, what?" "It's Counselor Thresh's personal vessel." A cold smile touched Hyunwoo's lips. "The universe has a sense of humor. Open a channel to the council ships." "Channel open, sir." "This is Captain Hyunwoo Kim of the Terran vessel Ranger. We are moving to assist." There was a pause, then Thresh's voice came through. He sounded desperate. Human ship? What are you doing here? Never mind, help us. They have boarded 2 of my transports already. On our way, Hyunwoo said. He looked at his tactical officer. Target the closest pirate ship. Fire everything we have. The Ranger was small, but its weapons were precise. Missiles streaked out and hit a pirate cruiser. The explosion damaged its engines. The pirate ship spun away, bleeding atmosphere. Got their attention, Bora said grimly. She was right. 6 of the pirate ships turned toward the Ranger. They opened fire with dozens of weapons. The Ranger shook. Alarms screamed. The lights flickered. Shields at 40%. Someone yelled, "Return fire!" Hyunwoo commanded. The Ranger fought hard. It was fast and its crew was skilled. But there were too many pirates. One by one, the human ship's systems began to fail. Shields down. Hull breaches on decks 2 and 3. Engineering reports main power failing. Weapons offline. The Ranger went dark. Emergency lights came on, casting red shadows across the bridge. The ship drifted, powerless. On the view screen, they watched as the pirates boarded Thresh's ship. The counselor's face appeared on a small screen. He looked terrified. "Human captain," Thresh said. "They are coming. They will kill all of us. I am sorry for how we treated you. You came to help even after. The screen went black. Hyunwoo sat in his chair. His uniform was torn. Blood ran down his forehead from where he had hit a console during an explosion. Around him, his crew looked defeated. Then he reached down to his command console. A hidden panel slid open. Inside was a single button marked with Earth symbol. "Captain?" Nari asked. "What is that?" "Protocol Titan," Hyunwoo said quietly. "It is for emergencies only." "What does it do?" Instead of answering, Hyunwoo pressed the button. A burst transmission shot out from the Ranger. It was encrypted, using codes that not even the Council knew about. The message was simple. Coordinates, authorization code, and 2 words. "Asset required." Bora checked her console. "Captain, I have a response. Someone is coming. Estimated arrival time." She paused, her eyes widening. 18 minutes. "Who is coming?" Nari asked. Hyunwoo leaned back in his chair. Despite everything, he was smiling. "You will see, Ambassador. The Council thinks they know humanity. They think we are weak. They think we are children with toy ships. We are," someone said bitterly. "Look at us. We are dead in space." "No," Hyunwoo said. "We are exactly where we need to be." Outside, the Pirate Lord's ship moved closer. Its name was painted on the hull in blood-red letters, Death's Hand. Pirate Lord Kraz sat on his command throne, watching the helpless human ship. "Small ship," Kraz growled. He was a massive creature, 3 meters tall with gray skin and tusks, but brave. Stupid but brave. "Bring them aboard. We will make an example of them." His crew cheered. They activated their tractor beam and began pulling the Ranger toward their ship. On the Ranger's bridge, Hyunwoo watched the countdown on his console. 17 minutes, 16 minutes, 15 minutes. "Captain?" Bora said nervously. "The pirates are pulling us in." "What are we waiting for?" "Patience, Lieutenant," Hyunwoo said. Patience. On Thresh's ship, the pirates had gathered all the survivors in the cargo bay. Counselor Thresh knelt on the floor with 20 other council members. Pirate guards stood around them, weapons ready. Kraz entered the cargo bay. He looked at Thresh and laughed. "So the mighty council begs. I like this." "Please," Thresh said. "We can pay ransom. Anything you want." "I want to show the galaxy that the council is weak," Kraz said. "I will broadcast your executions to every system. Let them see what happens to council dogs." He raised his weapon toward Thresh's head. Then every alarm on every pirate ship began to scream. "What is happening?" Kraz roared. A pirate ran into the cargo bay. "Lord Kraz." "Massive spatial distortion detected. Something is coming out of hyperspace. Something big." "How big?" "The scanners cannot measure it properly. They keep giving error readings." Kraz ran to the nearest view screen. What he saw made his blood freeze. Space was tearing open. A massive rift of blue-white energy appeared. And something was coming through, something huge, something impossible. On the Ranger, Hyunwoo stood up. His smile was wide now. "Ambassador Park," he said. "Let me introduce you to humanity's real navy." The rift exploded with light, and the Titan came through. The chamber was enormous. It floated in space, a massive station built by 73 different alien races. Inside, thousands of beings sat in their designated areas. Some had scales, others had fur. Some breathed oxygen. Others needed different gases, but they all had one thing in common today. They were all watching the humans. Ambassador Nari Park stood at the center platform. The spotlight made her dark suit shine. She held a data pad in her hands, but she did not look at it. She had memorized everything. Behind her, on the viewing screen, images of Earth rotated slowly. Blue oceans, green continents, white clouds. Honorable members of the Galactic Council, Nari said. Her voice was steady. Humanity requests membership in this great assembly. We have proven our capability for faster-than-light travel. We have established colonies on 12 worlds. We seek to join you as partners in exploring and protecting this galaxy. A sound erupted from the left side of the chamber. It was laughter. Not polite laughter, but mocking laughter. Nari's jaw tightened, but she kept her face calm. High Arbiter Vexthor sat on the highest throne. His species looked like giant lizards with red scales and golden eyes. He raised one clawed hand, and the chamber fell silent. Ambassador Park, Vexthor said. His voice was deep and rumbling. This is the 3rd year you have come before us. The answer remains the same. With respect, High Arbiter, Nari replied. We have met every requirement you have stated. Requirements? A new voice spoke up. It came from Counselor Thresh, a creature with 4 arms and a shell-like body. His species had been traveling the stars for 10,000 years. You barely left your own solar system 50 years ago. You call that experience? More laughter rippled through the chamber. Nari took a breath. We are young, yes, but we are capable. We are eager to learn. We offer our resources, our knowledge, and our commitment to peace. Your military fleet, Thresh said, leaning forward. His mouth parts clicked together, and what Nari had learned was amusement. How many ships do you have, Ambassador? 417 capital ships, Nari answered. Plus support vessels. The chamber exploded with laughter again. Even some of the more polite species smiled. Thresh's clicking grew louder. 400 ships, he said. My own species has 40,000. The Vexthor Empire has 200,000. And you think you belong here? Numbers are not everything, Nari said quietly. In this galaxy they are, Vexthor rumbled. He looked around the chamber. All in favor of denying Earth's petition for membership? Hands, claws, tentacles, and various appendages rose throughout the chamber. Nari counted them. 68 voted yes, only 5 voted no, and those 5 were species that had no military power at all. The petition is denied, Vexthor declared. He looked down at Nari. Ambassador Park, I will give you advice. The galaxy is vast and dangerous. There are pirates, warlords, and ancient evils that lurk in the dark. Your little ships are toys. Go home, grow stronger. Perhaps in another century we will talk again. The words stung, but Nari bowed her head respectfully. Thank you for your time, High Arbiter. She walked off the platform. Her heels clicked on the metal floor. Every eye watched her leave. She heard whispers, more laughter. One voice said, the humans think they are ready. Like children wanting to sit at the adult table. Outside the chamber, Captain Hyunwoo Kim waited. He stood beside the docking port, his uniform crisp and clean. When he saw Nari's face, he knew the answer. They said no again, he said. It was not a question. They laughed at us, Hyunwoo, Nari said. Her voice was tight with controlled anger. They treated us like we were nothing. Like we were insects. Hyunwoo's hands formed fists at his sides. He had served in Earth's Navy for 20 years. He had fought pirates in the outer colonies. He had commanded ships in dangerous situations. And now he had to stand here while aliens mocked his entire species. Come on, he said gently. Let's go home. They walked through the station's corridors. Aliens moved past them, some glancing at the humans with curiosity, others with contempt. A small creature, no bigger than a dog, actually pointed and laughed at them. The Ranger waited at Dock 73. It was a diplomatic vessel, sleek and well-designed. It could hold a crew of 50 and travel faster than light. By human standards, it was impressive. By galactic standards, it was pathetic. Lieutenant Bora Choi met them at the airlock. She was young, barely 30, with sharp eyes and quick hands. How did it go, Ambassador? Prepare for departure, Hyunwoo said. We're going home. Bora's face fell, but she nodded. Yes, Captain. The bridge was small but efficient. 6 stations, a main view screen, and a captain's chair. Hyunwoo sat down and looked at the screen. He could see the massive council station outside, with hundreds of alien ships coming and going. A message light blinked on his console. Priority encryption. Earth Defense Command, Hyunwoo opened it. He read the words on the screen. His expression did not change, but his eyes grew hard. "Captain?" Bora asked. "Everything okay?" "Fine," Hyunwoo said. He closed the message. "Take us out, Lieutenant." Standard departure. The Ranger detached from the station. Its engines glowed blue as it moved away. Behind them, the Council continued its business, already forgetting about the human petition. On the bridge, Nari sat in the guest chair. 3 years, she said softly. 3 years of trying. Of being polite. Of following their rules. I know, Hyunwoo said. They think we are weak. I know. They think we are children. Hyunwoo looked at her. His face was calm, but something burned behind his eyes. Let them think that, Ambassador. Sometimes it is useful when people underestimate you. The Ranger flew into the darkness of space. Behind it, the Council station grew smaller. None of them knew that everything was about to change. None of them knew that in a few hours the galaxy would see something it had never seen before. And the Council would learn that humanity had been very, very busy while everyone was laughing. The message Hyunwoo had received was simple. Just 3 words, assets are ready. He smiled. It was not a kind smile.